I am recording this while I am sick. So, if I sound a bit croaky, that's why. I don't know why I did this. I'm just trying to get this video quickly, man. Okay, so I was supposed to be making a devlog on my recent game Vessel, but, it's taking a bit longer than expected, and I wanted to do something for Pride Month and Men's Mental Health Month, so I took the two protagonists of Size and my persona and made them pride-colored outfits, and I'm going to talk about them. First up is Lix. I decided that for each of the outfits, I would make them inspired by different aesthetics, and for Lix, I chose cottagecore. Cottagecore is pretty simple. It's a romanticization of living in a little cottage in the woods without technology. Lix's typical style of dress is formal. He's hardly ever seen out of his uniform. Part of it is because he's a bit of a workaholic, and part of it is because of his upbringing, where he was always expected to dress neat and formal. So that's quite the contrast to male cottagecore outfits, which usually emphasize loose and comfortable clothes that often get dirty from exploring in the woods for hours. I think if Lix was suddenly forced to wear such clothing, it would be quite alien, but he'd ultimately enjoy it. And since there's a part of the game where he does end up in a cottage in the woods needing to wear this kind of clothing, making this outfit was good experimentation for it. That's why I decided to give him a serene expression. It's a rare moment where he just gets to loosen up and really relax. I also gave him gloves because he doesn't want to get dirty, and some bandages on his upper right arm because he's got a scar there. It's actually the only scar that he doesn't really have a trauma associated with. It was just from a sparring accident he had with his brother when he was little, and a nice pair of Wellington boots so he can freely explore the forest without getting dirty, because he is a very clean, very nice little man. Onto the colors, we're using the pan-romantic flag. Being pan-romantic means you can be attracted to anyone, regardless of gender, and Lix is actually perfectly comfortable with it. You see, the world of Size doesn't really have homophobia. I made it that way not to ignore the topic, but to show that homophobia is forced, and a world without it can be just as normal as ours and should be the norm for us. With that being said, here's Lix. P.S. I will talk more about his mental health stuff when I get to my outfit. Levirai's outfit is a lot more rebellious than Lix's. Levirai is the king of Avir. His outfits are aristocratic, noble, high class, whatever you want to call it. But he really loves alternative fashion, so I decided to make him a scene-inspired outfit. That means stripes, layers, baggy shirts, and lots of belts. Levirai's flag is the gay flag. He likes men. He's a boy kisser. Now, this isn't normally a problem in the world of Size, but those in the upper class are often encouraged to have offspring of their own blood, especially if they're royal. This doesn't mean having a relationship with the opposite gender, but test tube babies aren't a thing in this world, so you gotta give a crack at the old-fashioned way at least a few times. Fun fact, that was how Levirai was born. His father was aromantic, meaning he didn't have romantic feelings, so the woman who gave birth to him was a volunteer and wasn't involved in his life afterwards. This is where one of Levirai's main struggles come in. The people of Avir want him to have children because they don't want him as a leader, but he isn't ready to have kids, and while the baby method previously mentioned isn't taboo, he still doesn't want to do it, but he also doesn't want the people to know that because he already has to deal with enough pressure as it is, so he's in the closet. As far as everyone else is aware, he's straight and just being difficult, which is easier to deal with than risking being mocked for being too weak to bed with someone he doesn't want to. That comes into another part of his character that relates to a lot of closeted gay men, not wanting to be seen as weak. The world of Size doesn't have strict feminine and masculine roles, but it does have equivalents somewhat. Being too soft is still seen as a bad thing, even if not attributed to women. Levirai never feels safe being gentle, because gentle people are easy to hurt. He wants to dress in a variety of fashions and colors. His favorite color is soft blue, he plays sad songs on the violin, and he spends most of his free time drawing and reading. But that's not an image he can uphold without putting himself in more danger. I think one of my favorite things about his outfit is the blue. Blue is a controversial color in Avir because wearing it can be seen as supporting the Elixir. Lix's heavily shunned race. This outfit is a middle finger to the racist, insecure society Levirai rules over. If he could, he'd wear it every day. Oh look, it's my persona! For my theme, I wanted to go cyberpunk. The outfit wasn't too difficult to assemble, but I had to do some thinking about my cane, since I've never seen a cyberpunk cane. Then I remembered that it's cyberpunk. They don't have canes, they have cyborg parts. So I replaced my upper right arm and lower left leg, since those are the places my disability affects me the most. I went for cyberpunk because, while I actually dress alternatively already, I don't really have any cyberpunk themed clothes. I probably won't get any for some time because I need to get up my savings, because someone spent hundreds of Australian dollars getting TADC merch after they saw the finale. By the way, you can commission me on my Ko-Fi linked in the description. I'd be happy to make pride outfits for your own OCs. Moving on, the flag I'm using is a little different to Lix's and Levirai's. I'm using the rabies flag. Now, you might have heard of this, and before you ask, No, I am not attracted to people with rabies. The rabies flag is actually a flag for neurodivergent trans people. The theme of rabies come from what social alienation feels like having a disease. The rabies flag is something I relate heavily to because I not only know what it's like to be isolated, but because I was literally called a disease. That's the experience I used to write Lix's isolation. The discrimination he faces is more based on his race, culture, and status, but how it occurs is the same. Misinformation, stereotypes, immaturity, disrespect, things towards children that they carry into adulthood, and how every little degradation, every tease, every assumption leads to dangerous consequences. Arguments turn into shouting matches, mocking pushes turn into serious violence. All of it leaves Lix feeling unbelievably lonely, pressured, and unwanted. Like me. So the expression on my character is smug, because despite going through that, I'm here, and most importantly, still me. I'm okay, I go by he, him, and I'm a gay, trans, mentally ill game developer. Happy Pride Month. Happy Men's Mental Health Month. Hey, this is a chill little credit stalk, like the big content creators do. I could have written a lot more in my scripts, like I have other queer characters, and the mental health issues of these ones hasn't even been fully stated. So I could definitely make another one of these, but as I said, I'm trying to grind on the devlog for Vessel, and I still need to do the post update for Vessel, and the Elix prototype is nowhere near finished, and there's another game after which I won't spoil, and I have the Juniper Dev Jam coming up soon, not even mentioning the Shovel Jam that's coming out after the Isidore's Edge demo gets released, so a part 2 isn't likely unless it's like next year. I'll keep doing devlogs after each game, but just like don't expect many videos like this anytime soon. Okay. Have a nice day. Thank you for sticking to the end. Again, my Ko-Fi, please give me money. I'm trying to get up my savings. I want to move out.